Awakening the divine spiritual spark will guarantee a change in character. BD number 7984 September 4, 1961. You once deprived yourselves of your divinity by changing your fundamental nature into the opposite. You were no longer beings of light but had become beings of darkness, for you were devoid of all love because you had rejected my love which wanted to permeate you and make you happy for all eternity. And in this ungodliness, in this totally opposite nature to mine, you were distant from me, you utterly reversed your nature and could therefore no longer be close to me because you would have ceased to exist in my light of love, it would have consumed you completely. However, it was not my will that the being which had once emerged from my strength of love should vanish, I only wanted its return to me, but this necessitated a change in nature which reduced its distance from me until, finally, this distance was completely overcome by the fact that the being had adopted its original state again, until it had totally become love again and my love was able to permeate it again as before. This transformation into love required of me an act of mercy and love. I had to place a tiny spark of my eternal love into you because you were utterly devoid of love and therefore also incapable of changing yourselves and your nature. An exceedingly long and painful process of return had almost broken your past opposition to me, yet then you entered into a state in which you received free will again, which prior to that had been bound. And in this state of free will, as a human being, the retransformation into love should take place again, which would have been utterly impossible had a tiny spark of love not laid dormant in you, which is a gift of grace I place into every person's heart and which characterizes him as a divine living creation as soon as he voluntarily kindles the spark of love to flare up into a bright flame. This work has to be accomplished by the human being himself. And he can certainly do it precisely because the divine spark of love lies dormant in him. This spark of love is a divine part. It is a minute spark of my eternal spirit of love which is inseparably connected to me, which also incessantly strives back to the eternal Father Spirit but which allows the human being complete freedom as to whether he yields to it or whether he smothers the small spark with his anti-divine nature on account of his connection with my adversary which he is not prepared to give up. You are all able to love but whether you are willing is left up to you. And although the spiritual spark in you, seeing it as part of me, has tremendous strength, it will not force you to change your nature but it will make it easier. It is not an impossibility that this change of nature into love can occur during your short lifetime on earth. The connection with me is in place, it just has to be striven for by yourselves for you to feel its effect when my love can shine into you again. A bond between the spiritual spark in you and the Father Spirit must be established, then the change of nature will irrevocably take place and you will become the happiest beings again, as you were in the beginning. But without this spiritual spark in you, which is my share, you would be hopelessly lost. You are able to love, you have the ability to feel and to emanate love, you are not entirely devoid of love if you don't resist this spirit of love in you, if you don't push towards my adversary who will always prevent you from carrying out loving acts but who cannot stop you if you kindle the light in you, if you pay attention to the gentle voice within and comply with it, which will always stimulate you to be lovingly active. For my spiritual spark is truly mighty and full of strength because it is part of me. It will strengthen even the slightest will towards it and there is nothing my adversary can do to stop it, for he cannot fight against me since I am, after all, inside of you. I just don't force you if you oppose me of your own free will. And this divine spark of spirit, which is part of me, is also the guarantee that you can change, for it is strength from me which enables you to do anything you seriously strive for. And in order for you to muster this serious will the Divine Redeemer will always help you, he merely wants to be acknowledged and asked to strengthen your will. For he and I are one, you once rejected me, you refused to acknowledge me as your God and Creator and followed the one who drew you into the abyss. And he will be in control of you until you appeal to me for help and thus recognize and acknowledge me in Jesus Christ. And truly, the adversary's power will be broken if you confront him with my name, your will shall be strengthened and your desire for union with me will constantly grow stronger. The spiritual spark in you will seriously strive towards the bond with the eternal Father Spirit, you will give in to the inner urge and will be impelled into kind-hearted activity because I myself can once again permeate you with my love. And your nature will again take on a quality which resembles my fundamental nature. It transforms itself into love and will inseparably unite with me, then you will never leave me again, the child will have returned to the Father from whom it once originated. Amen.